me record the session. So before that, we have completed the Django setup, and we also have completed the first project, how to make a first project in Django. Now this is the time to create a web application, minimum web application. So how to start to make a app in Django really. So this is the tutorial for making a app in Django. So far we have been able to use run server to test our installation of Django. So actually we are using the run server command to run the application to test the if Django is perfectly working fine or not. So now let's move on to creating our first Django application. Now it is the time to create a Django application. We'll learn about views and how to use them. After that, we'll learn about views. Views actually that is the thing you want to show what on your application to the users. Okay. But before that, we need to learn about some terminology regarding to the Django application. A Django project is a collection of applications and configurations that when combined together will make up a full web application. So I already told you Django is a framework, so that's why Django project complete is a collection of applications. There are many applications also available in Django, and the configurations, many configurations things are also available. So when you combine these two things, I mean together, then you will make your web application, full web application, your complete website, then running with Django. Okay. Another thing, a Django application is created to perform a particular functionality for your entire web application. So that's why I can say Django application uh, run the entire functionality of your web application. You could have a registration app, polling app, comments app. These applications functionality completely run by Django. You can make that type of app. So these Django apps can then be plugged into other Django projects. You can add one Django app to another projects and you can reuse them other okay many times as you want. So let's create a simple application with Python manage.py start app first app. Okay. So this is the time to create a application first application. So let me run this command Python manage.py start app first app. So for that, okay. So let me open the PyCharm. So here we have. So here I already told you how to run a Django project and how to see the website in web browser. Now it is the time to create a Django application. So you need to go to back to the same path from from that folder and now in this I need to run that command Python and after that Python manage.py start app first app. So we are starting our app. So we need to give Python manage.py start app. So now this is also first step, like first project. But here we got error. Cannot open file Python project manage.py. No such file or directory. Okay. So this manage.py is available in first project. So we need to go to the first project folder. Then only it will run. Not in that Python project it will run. So we need to go to that first step. Okay. So for that we need to go to again this way. Now we are in first project. Now we need to run that command here. Now it will run. Okay. So now we have created the uh, first app here. And inside that first app, you can say we also have many files. One of the migration folder that I already talked about that. And apart from that, there are many Python file admin.py and apps.py, models.py, tests.py, views.py, that is important. So these, okay, test.py, these are all, I think, these are all the files available in that application, first step application. So now this is the time to learn about this file. Okay, so let me learn about this file. Okay, there is some error. Let me share again. Let me share again. There is some error, I think. Okay, so I hope you are able to see my screen. So we have seen how to create a app in Django. Now I will talk about the different files which is available in the first app. As like we have talked about different files available in first project. Now this is the first app. So this is the steps actually. First you need to install the Django. Then after installing that Django, you need to first create the first project. Then you need to create the first app. Now you need to manage that app, what you want to show. So after that we will go for that views and the template parts. Okay, that HTML code, how you can insert that HTML web template, any if any. Okay, so these are the files, and now I will talk about the init.py. So this is blank Python script. Okay, that due to its special name, and Python know that this directory can be treated as a package. Here only admin.py, yeah, you can register your models here, which Django will then use them with Django's admin interface. So basically in Django application we have one Django admin. Okay, so let me, okay, let me show you one Django admin so that you can relate that Python. Okay, Python manage.py, py run server. Okay, now go to that website, and here let me give admin. Now admin URL, admin password, and this I have not configured, so that's why first of all I need to configure the password, then I will show you the first, complete admin of the Django. Okay, from that admin we will manage different models. So this is telling about that admin.py. Here you can add many models, and here you can actually manage the admin interface. Another we have apps.py. Here you can place application specific configuration. In apps.py you can place specific configuration of application. This is the Django.apps import any app config. So this is one type of class here. You can create the many configuration. Okay, then we have models.py. So model.py, here you store the application data models. So I will tell you about that. Next we have test.py. Here you can store test function to test your code. So you are thinking actually how these webs, these different files are working. So it this code functionality I will talk you later. But before that, you need to understand which file is for what. Okay, that's why test.py file. Here you can store test functions to test your code. Uh, uh, I think many test cases you can pass. And views.py, that this is very important. This is where you have functions that handle request and return responses. Okay, means there are many functions what user is requesting. On the basis of that function, application will show the response, will show the things dynamically to the user. Then there is a migration folder. This directory store database specific information. So basically in migration, I already told migration used for migrating the one database from one path to another path. and also vice versa. So this by migration folder, this directory store database specific information, and it relates to it to the model. Okay, so this is about the Django first application, and we have successfully created that Django first application. Now we are moving toward one exercise, one challenge, and I will introduce you about the challenge, and we will go for that solution, or I will tell you how to create that. And this is your homework to make that solution to run the command by setup by making the setup of Django in your local system. Okay. So this is your homework. So let me tell you first about the exercise. What is this challenge actually? So we have learned enough now that before we continue to learn about URL mappings, we should challenge you to make sure you can test your new skills. So this is a type of new skills by learning Django. So you need to test that. So for that, complete the following task. Create a new Django project, Pro 2. So we have created one project, that is first project. Now it is the time to create Pro 2 project, Pro 2 name. You only just change the name. Then create a new Django app, app 2. Here we have created first app. Now in this exercise you need to create app 2. Then create an index view that returns my second app. Okay. So in the index view, you need to create the my second app. Okay. Link this view to the urls.py. So these things you need to do. In the next lecture, we will go through the steps of the challenge task. But before that, I want to tell you about index.view and urls.view. So index.view actually will tell you about how what you want to show in the home page of your website. Okay. So let me tell you. So first of all, we need to go to one file that is so we have created first step. Inside the first step, we need to go to that manage.py, and inside that manage.py, okay. So we need to go to that first step, and in this first project, we have first project also, and we have here manage.py. Okay, let me open this manage.py. So we have here in import OS, import sys, and we have our main function, and inside that we have this try and accept. And I already told you we will use that try and accept regular expression things here. So here you can see we have try and accept from Django.core management execute from command. And when we have accept import error as exact, then it will raise this. Okay. Now we need to go to the settings.py so that we can do some settings here. So that we can link our app to the project, Django project. So for that we need to go to the settings.py, and here inside the settings.py we have applications, installed apps. So they are the admin, authentication, content type, sessions, messages, and the static files. These are already inbuilt application that is already installed, but we have installed one new app, that is first app. So we need to add the first app here. Okay. So we need to add our first app. So you need to just type like first app. Okay, and for that challenge you need to write the pro 2 or app 2. App 2 you can write, but in our case we can write first step. So let me save this and let me close the server. Okay, so now you can see, you can run the, so let me run the project. In first project run server, let me run the server, and now you can open that, and we are able to open that. Okay, like before, but before that we need to do some settings here. So we'll see about the views.py. So actually first step is our here folder first step, and we have that views.py, and inside that views.py we need to write some http request render thing. Okay, so from Django.shortcut import render, and another thing we need, actually I want to create the views here, because in the views you can see we have this Django websites, but we actually don't want this Django website here. We want our application, we want our web pages here. So that's why we need to remove that this view. Okay, so for that removing this view we need to add here some code, some view code, so that we can view our application from different perspective. Okay, then we have from Django.http, Django.http. Okay, and we will import http request, http response. Okay, these two things we have done. Now we need to create the one request. So for that we need to create a function. Oh, here we need to create a function. Define index. That is index function. It will show the index thing in the web application. So we need to give the request here. So it will tell what type of request are coming from the user, and according to that it will return the HTTP response. So that HTTP response, and inside that we want to show some text, like this is the hello world application, so I want to show you the hello world into the app. So the views by dot thing we have done. Let me save this, and next is we need to go to that urls.py. So inside that url.py, actually we need to map the URL. So first let me go to the urls.py. Where is the urls.py? In our first app, I think we have, yes, here we have url.py. So there are many comments are available to show you the learning about the url.py. The first we need to see the this code. So first we have django.contrib from admin and django.urls from path. So here in URL pattern, actually we want to change the path. Okay, so now is directly opening the admin.site.url, so that's why we are seeing this admin.site.url. Okay, now we need to change that in our URL. So for that we need to import something here. What we need to import? So we have one Django.contrib import.main import from admin, and another we have Django.conf.urls. Okay, not URLs. Django.conf dot URLs. We are importing this from a URL. Import from URL. Next we have from first tab, that we have already created our first tab. So first app. So from first tab we are importing views. Import views. Okay, so you can see in our first tab we have created the views. So that's why we need to uh, import the views from first tab. Now we are using the path here, but instead of using path we need to use the URL here. So we need to give the URL here. Now before that we need to give the one more URL like that, and here we need to give the URL like r this. This is the syntax for giving the default URL, and this is the one URL, and next is URL slash admin and admin dot site URL. So before that we will show that. Now here we need to give the views dot index. Views dot index. So we are importing the first tab from views. So we are using that views dot index. Next, we need to give the name here. What is the name of that views? The name of that views equal to index. And here we need to give the comma. So this we have created URLs. Also we have created the by default URL views.index, and name is equal to this, and the admin path is this. So admin also will be like URL. This is the complete URL of admin.site.url. But here we are getting some error by importing the first tab from views, importing the views from first tab. So we will see this later. Okay, URL we have django.conf.urls from URL, and django.control from admin. Admin we are giving, site URL we are giving, and first tab. Okay, so let me save that. But this is showing error. Just a 1 minute. Cannot import name URL from django.conf.urls. Showing the error. From django.conf.urls import URL. So add a URL to URL pattern path use.home name equal to home. We have different errors. Okay. So basically this URL pattern is very old. So I need to refer the new URL pattern so that I will tell you that in the coming session. Okay, so that we can remove that URL, these things from here, and we will work with our app, our Hello World app. Okay, so that error I will solve in next session. Okay, so we have some error here. It is not able to import the views from first app. I will refer it because this thing I was holding, I was using in the last time, but now it changed into path instead of URL. So I will look into that and will tell you about that. Okay. So thank you for joining the session. In next session, I will solve first this error, then we will go further for URL mapping and these things for the exercise part. Okay. So how many users we have? Let me see. Asta, Rutuja, Sanika, Shivani, and Tejas. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. I will talk uh, the solution of this error in the next. Okay.